Hello, my name is Rick and welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I tend to review products that are under $25, so if that's something that interests you, I'd recommend subscribing below or following me on my Instagram at rickskin_. So today I have a review of a brand called Jumiso. And even their brand name carries some significant meaning. Ju in Korean means give and miso means to smile. So their brand initiative is to make customers happy, essentially, which is always a good thing. And their packaging is really cute. It features these two mascots. It's like a girl and this little dog. I tried to find out if they have names, but I couldn't find anything, but either way, it's cute. So I got these products because I consider it to be part of what their core line is. They also have some other products like sheet masks and like spot serums, and they also have a vitamin C serum that I was considering reviewing, but it has essential oils in it, so I didn't really feel like it was worth reviewing. But these two have some fragrance, but it's not overpowering and it's not necessarily as harmful of what you would find in like a citrus peel oil or something like that. So the first product is the Yes, I Am Toner. I love these names just because it's like, you are a toner. And yeah, it's a exfoliating acid toner with 5% AHAs. It has both glycolic and lactic acid in it. And the prices actually vary on these products depending on where you got them for. They're a little cheaper on YesStyle and some other websites, but the most consistent price I found was $18 for 4.2 ounces or 125 milliliters. And now we'll get into the star ingredients, but first I wanted to ask a question. So usually in my videos I kind of have a loose format where I introduce the product, then I'll talk about the star ingredients, or basically the ingredients, the actives essentially. And then I'll go into texture and demonstration of the product. But I was just wondering, I find the parts where I go through each ingredient kind of like a dead part of the video. I don't know if you guys find that valuable, or whether you'd instead prefer me to just put that information in the description. That way I don't, every time I do it, I essentially feel like I'm just like reading it off my phone to you anyway, so I feel like why even like kind of force you to watch that when you can just kind of go on your own accord and look at it anyway. I'd essentially just kind of synthesize all the individual research I've done and give like a short description of each product. So if you'd like to see that instead of me actually doing it in the video, leave a comment down below, and now let's do it. So one of the most highly concentrated ingredients in this is propanediol, which essentially just acts as a solvent. It also acts as a humectant and penetration enhancer for other actives. And this is an AHA toner. It has glycolic acid and lactic acid. Both concentrations essentially add up to 5%, which makes this a 5% AHA product. And glycolic acid is a very low molecular weight exfoliating acid, which basically means it's going to be able to penetrate deeper into the deeper layers of your skin and essentially increase the exfoliating power of it. It's going to be able to break down the bonds deeper in your skin, which will essentially allow you to more effectively remove dead skin cells. And it's also been shown to trigger some collagen production. And then it has lactic acid, which is a little bit bigger in molecular size, which means it's not going to be able to penetrate as deep, but it's also more gentle. And it acts as a humectant in lower concentrations, so it's really going to be able to buffer any irritation that somebody who might be sensitive to glycolic acid might get. And then I'm gonna have to read this because it's an extract name that's really long. And I'm also gonna display it, so like, even though I butcher it, you're still gonna know what it is. It's called Houttuynia cordata extract, and it essentially acts as, it's kind of an all-around good ingredient. It's antibacterial, it's anti-inflammatory, and it has some antioxidant properties. And then there's another antioxidant extract by the name of Sophora japonica, and it's a flower extract. And then there's two ingredients which introduce probiotics to this product, and it's lactobacillus ferment, and then Saccharomyces, and that's a rice ferment. And what probiotics do in skincare is they help essentially metabolize some of the active ingredients, which essentially allows them to be more bioavailable for your skin to actually use, while at the same time kind of enriching it with their own vitamins and minerals. And when you feed like beneficial bacteria like that, it often can help outcompete harmful bacteria. So overall, it just helps rejuvenate the skin, repair the skin, and allow it to be a little bit more resilient. The product also has panthenol, which is vitamin B5, which is essentially just calming and hydrating. And then it has allantoin, which is keratolytic, which basically means it helps with cell turnover, and it is also healing and calming. And then there's another extract called Bacchusia citriodora leaf oil, and I think it's called lemon myrtle. That's the common name. And it's essentially just a fragrance ingredient. I actually found that it kind of smells like Pez or like Smarties, those like hard, really sugary candies. I don't mind it, it's not overpowering or anything. And then there's seawater in it. I didn't really see what the benefit of seawater is, but seawater tends to have more dissolved minerals in it, so I can see how that would be valuable. And then there's a few more extract. There's Scutellaria bicalensis root extract, and that's antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. You know, a lot of the plant extracts tend to have the same purpose. And then there's tocopherol, which is vitamin E, and that's just going to essentially be another antioxidant. And then there's raspberry ketones, which is essentially just a fragrance ingredient. It's the main aromatic molecule that's in raspberries. But there's also been research showing that it can help with skin elasticity, but it's the last ingredient in the product, so you're probably not going to see any of those benefits anyway. So yeah. So first I want to mention just potentially some irritating ingredients. So at the top we did have propanediol, which is a penetration enhancer. And then at the same time we also have some plant extracts like the lemon myrtle that I mentioned, which is essentially just a fragrance ingredient. And when you mix penetration enhancers with fragrance ingredients, it can essentially just compound the irritancy that those ingredients might introduce to you. So I'd keep that in mind if you have really sensitive skin or you just have really reactive skin. But as far as the texture of the product, it's what you'd expect from a toner. It's like slightly viscous, but mostly like a watery texture, which, you know, you put it on a cotton pad and you essentially just sweep it over your face. And I'm finding like I'm using a lot of 5% AHA product, and it essentially just feels like I'm rubbing water on my skin, just because I've used 10% products, I've used a 30% AHA products, and those gave me some stinging, which made me feel like it was adequately, you know, breaking down some of those junctions that keep the skin cells together. But this would be an amazing product for somebody who's maybe using an AHA for the first time. You're not sensitive to fragrance, and $18 is kind of a good middle ground price. I don't really think it's that expensive, especially since this product has so many actives in it. I'd actually be fine recommending it for those who want to maybe use their first AHA product. And like I said, the price actually kind of varies depending on where you get it from. I believe I did get this one for $18, but the deals are out there, is all I'm saying. And now we're gonna get into the moisturizer they have. It's called Have a Good Cream. Love that name. And the main ingredients that they're selling on this is snail secretion filtrate and Centella asiatica extract. And it goes for $24 for 1.7 ounces or 50 milliliters. And this freaked the hell out of me because I don't know how I missed it in the ingredient list before I ordered it, that this has menthol in it, and I thought I was having some kind of severe reaction to it, but then I went over the ingredients and it has menthol lactate and peppermint oil, so that's what kind of gives, it's not overbearing like some other menthol products I've used. It just kind of leaves like a cooling sensation that at the initial application I wasn't expecting, but after a few uses you kind of do get used to it, and it does kind of feel like really nice, especially during the summer. Now I'm going to get into ingredients. So first there's glycerin, which is a humectant. So first there's glycerin, which is a humectant that's going to be able to draw water from the air onto your skin, provided that your skin is drier than the air. And then it has squalane, which is a sugarcane derived oil, which kind of mimics the oil that we produce on our own, which kind of acts as a balancer, a skin balancer if you have oily skin. And then there's Centella asiatica extract, which basically has a lot of active components within it that help with healing and basically overall regeneration of the skin. And then there's bacillus ferment, which is essentially just another probiotic that's going to help break down those actives into more bioavailable components for the skin to use. And then there's trehalose, which is a sugar. Sugars, when you see them in skincare products, tend to act as humectants that draw moisture from the air to your skin. There's also an amino acid in this called arginine. You actually kind of see it in a lot of different products nowadays, but it basically helps stimulate collagen production, and then it's antioxidant and acts as a humectant. And amino acids are the building block of proteins, so they're gonna kind of help facilitate basically the basic functioning of the skin. And then once again, there's panthenol, which is vitamin B5, hydrating, calming. And then there's jojoba oil, and then there's jojoba oil, and the thing about jojoba oil is that it's not actually an oil, it's actually a wax that just kind of performs like an oil, so I guess that's why they call it that. But its composition is really close to the sebum that we have within our own skin, so it really acts as a signal to our skin not to produce so much oleic acid, which is the really dense pore clogging oil that we make, and it essentially just helps with skin oil balancing and moisturization. And then it has macadamia seed oil, which is an actual oil, and that has a host of different fatty acids that are going to be anti-inflammatory and really help repair the skin and a damaged skin barrier. And then there's sodium hyaluronate, which is the sodium salt of hyaluronic acid. It's going to be able to really penetrate deeper and provide hydration to the deeper layers of the skin. And then it's actually a better humectant than hyaluronic acid because hyaluronic acid has already reacted with water, which means that it's not going to do as good as a job at attracting that moisture. And then there's peppermint oil, which, like I said, scared me at first, but you get used to it when you expect it. But it essentially acts as a cooling agent, and it just helps calm the skin. And then we have the snail secretion filtrate, which is essentially going to have a bunch of humectants in it, which bring moisture from the air to the skin. It's going to help with collagen production and overall just skin regeneration and healing. It's a really it really helps with anything. Snail secretion filtrate is a great ingredient. And then there's menthol lactate, which is kind of the main menthol ingredient. In menthol lactate, it's just menthol and lactic acid combined, which means it's not going to be as irritating because it's a combined molecule, which means it's not going to have kind of all the characteristics that it would have by itself, because often when molecules are combined like that, they need to be converted or metabolized or something like that. But yeah, it's not as irritating as, say, just pure menthol would be. And there's also lemon myrtle in this product, so it's going to smell the exact same as this. It smells like candy. And then it has the 3 kind of active components of Centella asiatica extract. It has asiaticoside, madecassic acid, and asiatic acid, which combined provide basically the overall effects of Centella asiatica extract. They're essentially the more bioavailable components, because when they're kind of stripped from the rest of the extract like that, our skin is it's easier for our skin to use it essentially. And then there's beta glucan as the last ingredient, and that's just going to be soothing and calming. As for the texture for this, it's kind of a hybrid product. It's like a gel cream essentially that you put it on and it like really thins out. But the thing that's cool is that even though it thins out kind of a lot, you feel like you kind of just put on a oil rich moisturizer on that feels heavy. So it's like you can get away without using a lot of product and still feel like adequately moisturized, which I liked. I feel like they kind of hit it right on the money in terms of texture and the way it thins out. And then the menthol component, it actually made me like menthol kind of again in products, skincare products. Because the reason why I didn't like it was because I got like a mask as a sample in a Sephora order or something, and I used it and I was in tears because it felt like somebody like got menthol and like went like that, and it was like one of the worst skincare experiences I've ever had. So after that, whenever a product had menthol in it, I was like, get that away from me. But yeah, this kind of restored my faith in what menthol can provide you in terms of like a cooling effect in a skincare product. And that's why I feel like it would be great if you're in high humidity or just in a place where it's really hot, or your skin feels congested, because it just feels like everything's opened up and that like your skin is like really calm. As for the price, the $24 I find is kind of steep for this. I'm actually sure that there's better moisturizers on the market that are cheaper and are just as effective or better, like the Skin Renewing Night Cream from CeraVe. You get the same amount, 1.7 ounces, and it has a lot of skin barrier restoring ingredients like what you'd expect from CeraVe, like the ceramides, the cholesterol, stuff like that. But I got this for $13 on YesStyle, which is one of the reasons I got it in the first place. And if you can get it from for that price or around that price, I saw it for like 16, 13, 20. So if you can get one of those really good deals on it, I would really recommend this product. I found it kind of unique. You know, you tend to use a lot of moisturizers that are kind of the same. And this has a lot of like the regenerating ingredients in it that you'll see in a lot of K-beauty products, like the snail, the Centella asiatica extract, a few of the plant extracts, but you know, the menthol just kind of allowed it to be separated from all of those and provide an experience that you wouldn't necessarily get from those kind of monotonous moisturizers. And with menthol, I essentially kind of treat it like a fragrance ingredient, whereas like where it can be irritating depending on if your skin tolerates it well. The thing about fragrance in general is that it also depends on your biological makeup, your DNA. You know, it's always best to kind of prevent the possibility of irritation just from the get-go, but like the thing about fragrance and skincare is that you know, if you see a product that has a really nice texture, that is at a really great price, and that has a really good ingredient list, but it may have like 1 or 2 fragrance ingredients, I don't think that's necessarily grounds for completely ignoring it. For instance, I've talked before about the Glacier Solution, which is their exfoliating toner. It has synthetic fragrance in it. They don't even tell you what kind of fragrance, but I consider it one of my holy grail products just because of the way it works. At $24, you get a pretty substantial amount, but the formula is just so elegant, and the way it made my skin feel while using it and after was just so amazing that like I was able to just ignore the fact that the fragrance was in there. So essentially what I'm getting at is, don't let fragrance be the end-all be-all of whether you buy a product, because there's other things that are important, like how accessible is it to you? Is it going to be able to provide what you want it to? And whether it just makes you happy or not. And if you like using a product and it doesn't irritate you, then I'd say like keep on using it. I tend to be more conservative about my uses of fragrance, but I never like to push my ideals on like other people, you know. I'm essentially just, when I make these videos, telling you like this is what I would do. So yeah, now that rambling is over. I hope you liked this video. I hope it helped you make a better buying decision. I think Jumiso is a really cute brand, you know. The whole idea of trying to make their customers smile, I think is really cute. I would definitely recommend the products if you can find them for like a cheaper price, which I find is kind of easy to do. And I hope you're able to try them out. So if you like this video and you'd like to see more like it, I would recommend subscribing and following me at my Instagram at rickskin_. There I'll post some kind of like mini reviews and texture shots, and basically just some preliminary information that I might post before I do a full review of a product. So I hope you liked this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.